It's time for
DodgerHeads.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome into DodgerHeads Unplugged with Scotty G. It's great to have you in here. Happy Victory Tuesday. It's really great to have you. Or happy Wednesday. Happy Victory Wednesday. I'm here with Anthony Witrado. How we doing, man?
Doing all right. Feeling good. I'm over the bad parts of what we saw in game one, and I'm very ecstatic about the good parts, and I'm ready to close this thing out tonight.
Yeah. People saying Anthony's pulling a double shift for sure. Anthony's working hard. Everybody here at DB, we're working hard. Appreciate you, buddy, for tuning in. Everybody tuning in for the first time, make sure you hit that sub button, like, do all the things for us. To the tier ones, tuning in, everybody returning for myself here on Unplugged. Thank you. Playoff baseball is currently going on. It's a really fun time around Major League Baseball here. The Dodgers up 1-0 in the wild card round against the Cincinnati Reds. They take the first game 10-5. I hadn't had a chance to break that down last night. Tuned into the post-game show last night following their 10-5 win. The offense looked incredible. The bullpen did their usual thing where they kind of, make it about themselves, whatever. Blake Snell looks absolutely terrific and fits the bill of a game one starter. Biggest takeaways from that, and then we'll toss it around for a little bit, and then we'll get into game two.
Yeah, look, I think that for what we saw last night, I think we saw most of what we were hoping to see. Mm-hmm. Nearly all of it, but most of it. Blake Snell from the jump was dealing. He had command of his pitches. He was able to put them where he wanted. The pure stuff of it all was nasty. I thought you saw that with a lot of the swing and miss and the decision, I think, for the Reds to try to attack early in counts played right into his hands. He's a guy that he'll nibble if you're going to let him. He's not ever really going to give in inside the zone, and their game plan. I understood it in that if he gets ahead in the count, he can put you away with a bunch of different weapons, and they didn't want to get into that situation, so they tried to go early at him. But if you're not putting the ball in play hard in those situations, then you're doomed. And we saw that last night. And then from the offense, right off the bat with Shohei locked in, and then the rest of the guys coming through, and Teoscar showing that what we saw down the stretch of the regular season is continuing into the postseason. Boy, he is a massive linchpin for this lineup.
Yeah, I heard you talk about that, last night. And I love that exactly what you said about Teoscar Hernandez last night. Blake Williams, we were on our pregame show yesterday speaking about game one in the morning. And we were really talking about, someone who needs to contribute. And Blake was big time on Teoscar Hernandez, thankfully, around this time of year. And that, and I think that this is going to make me sound old, but, kind of the more postseason baseball you watch, and when someone stands out to you so much, guys like Teoscar Hernandez, it's just slug prevails in the postseason. And that's just what it does. And then you look at guys who are on time, and that when they get that hanging pitch, when that pitcher is looking, Hunter Green, when he's looking to make the perfect pitch, and then one spins out of his hand, and then it just backs up, and then you get punished. And then you look at the scoreboard and you say, damn, now I'm down 4-0. And this is in a hurry. I'm in LA. I'm in a loud stadium, 55,000 fans, sellout crowd. Everything's weighing down on you. And that is what happened last night. The Dodgers chase Hunter Green out of the game after 3 innings, 5 earned runs. He allows 3 home runs. And Hunter Green is an exceptional talent. But his home and road splits are something that are noticeable and something that you have to keep tabs on. And the Dodgers jumped on him. he was trying to be perfect. His stuff wasn't as crisp. His fastball was electric. But when that's what the only thing you can really fall back on, the Dodgers can punish that all day long. And we've seen that for years. So with you bringing up Teoscar, he looked like that down the stretch. I keep drawing back to look at the exact at bat. I think it was against Arizona, where he took some sliders down and away and he didn't chase, and something looked way different. He was on time. He didn't look fooled. He didn't dive. And I remember texting in the group chat saying he looks on balance now. And this is who we're seeing.
Is that the series in Dodger Stadium?
Yes.
Yeah. And is that the same at bat that the wild pitch happened and the run scored?
I'm going to look, but if I know we're talking about the same stuff.
I think
it was sliders down and away, and he just kept, he didn't dive off, but he stayed back. Everything looked good.
That was a turning point for me. Maybe not for him. Maybe he was feeling good before that. But for me, watching the guy hit, that was the moment when I went, oh, this is different. Mm-hmm. This looks like last year where he spit on some really good pitches with 2 strikes too. I think he took an 0-2 count to like 2-2 or something like that, but it was like 8, 9, 10 pitches. Eventually, I want to say there was a wild pitch in there that allowed a run to score too. And I think at the time it was the tying run. I think he eventually struck out in that at bat, but the at bat quality looked a lot different. And then I think the next time up, he might have homered or doubled or something like that. And it was like, okay, I think we're off to the races here with this guy.
Yeah. And, last night in the bottom of the 3rd inning, Teoscar comes up with runners on 2nd and 3rd and 1 out against Hunter Green. Green misses with a 4-seam fastball, and then he tries to land a slider, and it just backs up and in. Teoscar Hernandez down 4-0 in a hurry. That ball was smoked, 109 off the bat on an absolute beam to left field. Look, Teoscar Hernandez has the ability to overhaul a postseason series, just like Max Muncy did with getting on base, just like Tommy Edman did. And Shohei Ohtani last night has 2 pumps. And that it's not that feels forgotten about. It's that Shohei Ohtani's a spectacle no matter what he does. Yeah. But with a guy like Teoscar Hernandez, teams are going to pitch around him. They're going to try to be perfect against these guys. And it's against players who don't miss these hangers. Teoscar Hernandez is the perfect postseason player. He's the perfect postseason bat. He is exactly the reason why you pay a guy like this. They don't shy away from the moment. They love those big time things. And he's spoken directly to that. I want to be in those spots. I want to be in those clutch situations. Dave Roberts has spoken directly to it. If you buy me a second, I'm going to pull up that quote here from Dave Roberts last night. But Teoscar Hernandez is everything you want the Dodgers to have right in the heart of the order.
Yeah, I think that for him, it's only 1 game this go around so far, and we'll see what the rest of this series and hopefully the next one look like. But he's looking like that Kike-esque type player where the moment doesn't get too big, the game doesn't move too fast, the lights are not too bright for Teoscar Hernandez when the chips are down in October, right? He proved it last year. He's so far proved it in 1 game this year. And what's really nice, I think, is if he can have a good postseason, I think what we can start to look at him as okay, even if he's okay during the regular season, maybe he's not an all-star again, but he's just okay. We can count on this guy when it's going to matter the most. And we keep talking about how the front office built this team not for the 162 so much, but for the 20, 25 games or whatever it is that you might play in October. Hopefully not that many, but and he's starting to fit in as one of those guys exactly. Like he is the sort of dude that you can say, all right, just like Kike, we're going to plug you in. Kind of doesn't matter what you've looked like, in the recent past. We know that when it's go time here, you can produce. Yeah.
And I love that you said that. It's peculiar. I'm going to say this last thing and we'll get into this quote and get back on track. But with Kike Hernandez, it says a lot about what the team thinks of Kike Hernandez and just how he looked in the last week. Same thing with Teoscar, buddy. He looked on time. He looked ready for it. The swing of Andres Munoz, who is one of the best right-handed relievers in the game. Big swing in Seattle. And then Conforto kind of just faded away when it comes to a matchup against a right-handed pitcher. That wasn't even a thought. It's like the Dodgers just began to pivot away from it, and we could all see it. And Kike just it became the conversation of how do you fit Kike back into the lineup? And that happened really fast. And everybody was just like, yep, that's the way to go. It's just that comfortability. And I've spoken a ton to Kike Hernandez last year, speaking about how he visualizes his success and the positive outcomes. And I buy so much into that. And I think the more I've listened to these players and how insightful they are about their own process, I love that about him. I think players do that. It should do that more and talk about their mental approach to the game. And that's why a lot of these teams bring in these specialists to really put these players in, positive mindset environments and get their mind ready for these moments. Because to what Dave Roberts said last night following the game, he said, this is Roberts speaking to Kike Hernandez or on Kike Hernandez and Teoscar. He said, quote, "I think it's the clutch gene. I think they're not afraid to fail. They like the spotlight, and it's just a really good heartbeat for those guys in those big moments. And Kike certainly likes the spotlight for sure." And Kike comes out last night, has a pair of knocks, gets pulled from the game, back tightened up a little bit. I saw somebody asking about it. Victor, Kike is good. He should be back in the lineup tonight. It was just precautionary measure. Dodgers are up by however many runs at the time he gets pulled out there. But the Dodgers look primed and ready with their clutch postseason performers. Yeah,
I'm with you there. And, it can be hard to this has been an age old argument in sports, in baseball in particular, where the analytical side of things came into, popularity a lot sooner than some of the other big sports. Yeah. But what is clutch and how do you measure clutch? And is it just high leverage? It's all of that kind of stuff. And, I think me personally, I sort of fall in between on how do you measure it and what it actually is. But I think when you get to October for Major League Baseball, when you get to June in the NBA, when you get to January in the NFL, those kinds of moments, right, where it matters the most now, and your season is basically constantly in jeopardy. That's a different kind of thing, and for some of those guys, they don't shrink in those moments, right? When the spotlight is on them. When the stakes are the absolute highest that they can possibly be in your entire season, those guys, their heartbeat doesn't get crazy. They don't get jittery. Their hands don't shake, right? And you can be whatever kind of run producer or player or whoever you might be in the regular season when it's, when it's late May and, the games kind of seem like they don't matter as much. And when you get put into that kind of situation and you're able to sort of have that about yourself, and you're able to produce, that's a different kind of gene, right? I hit well in high leverage this season, or I didn't, whatever the case may be. But in this situation, how is it exactly that you tend to perform with the track record? And right now, those two guys are showing. Kike's been shown it, but we can add Teo to that list of guys who do not wilt in that moment.
Yeah, and it's exactly that. There's something about it. And listening to Teoscar post game, they ask him about both of those homers. It's not that he shied away from the 3-run bomb, but he asked which one felt better, and it was the second homer he had, the 0-2 count where Connor Phillips throws a 99-mile-an-hour fastball away, and he takes it away. He goes right center field with that. And that's because it's, 0-2 count there. He looks all right on the sweeper. Maybe Connor Phillips doesn't trust the sweeper so much, tries to get a 0-2 fastball by him, and he just punishes it. Man. So it's, these guys in these spots, we talk about regular season ball not mattering all the time. We've seen, but every single game matters. And that's it. It'll always happen during the year. Regular season ball, people say, game in June doesn't matter. It's all, but they all add up. It's just a matter of when the lights go on, there is a switch that gets flipped. There is some certain lock in. Maybe it's not that same, switch flip. We can toss that out the side. But it's when the lock in period needs to happen. These guys aren't missing these mistakes. Tommy Edmonds getting blown by fastballs. In the second, Hunter Green gives him a slider in or half. He pulls it down the line for a homer on the side where he's not comfortable hitting as well as he does right-handed. It's just all these different things, man. And we got to see it last night. And maybe we're a little bit spoiled by having a 10-run outburst in game 1 of the playoffs in the wild card round. But that is just the absolute buy-in. That is the collective strength that the Dodgers offense can have in an absolute flooding.
Yeah, I agree. And the sample size hasn't been huge because his previous team was god awful.
Mhm.
But it looks like Shohei's starting to have some of that too. And I know fans expected a little bit more out of him during the last run. But I think some of it was maybe he pressed a little bit, but he came up huge in a couple of big spots last season and
Yeah.
tonight. I mean, now he's got it all under his belt, right? He's got a ring. He's got the experience of playing all month long in October, something he never had with the Angels. And all of a sudden, it's just a different kind of locked in for that guy too. And, I know he had the backwards K last night, but like all of those at-bats were pretty good. You know what I mean?
No, absolutely.
He was spitting on tight pitches, and I think after that first at bat, he swung and missed at an inside like 101 or something like that. He realized, I think, okay, I think I got you figured out here, and they really never went back to that spot against him.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody, just doing a couple quick housekeeping things here. Everybody tuning in just now. We got some late bloomers here. Appreciate you all tuning in. JY wants to know if the start time changed from 10. I just made the decision with Matt Moreno to push this back a little bit. We had a video come out. Jeff did a fantastic interview, this morning on Dodger Blue with Jeff Erickson talking Reds Dodgers. That came out a little bit ago on the main page. So if you have a second after we wrap up here, after you're done doing all the things, like and subscribe, comment down below there. Please take a look at that interview Jeff did with Jeff Erickson. He does stuff with the Cincinnati Reds there. So give that a little bit of a view. Give it some love, please. But I wanted to give everyone an opportunity to have a little bit more baseball talk. The closer we get towards postseason. People want to know about the official start time. It's going to be 10 a.m. We're going to still be at 10 a.m. I will let you know if anything shifts off of that. But this is what we're going to be doing. It's going to be shifting from, day to day, depending on if we have a special interview coming out in the morning. We're trying to put out as much content to everyone as we can toward the postseason. I let everyone know that the folks here at Dodger Blue, we're bringing you as many live interviews, special interviews, live shows, absolutely everything. We've got terrific contributors that tune in, Bruce Kuntz, Anthony Witrado. We've got a terrific staff here on Dodger Blue, Matt Moreno, Blake Williams at the stadium, every single home game. So thank you. But yes, we're going to keep doing as much as we can here, and we'll keep you posted if absolutely anything changes. Shifting gears here, but everybody, if the best way to get a hold of us is super chat. If you have something you want to get off your chest, you have something you want to direct the conversation to, toss those in there. We'll definitely halt what we're doing. There have been some really insightful super chats lately and some really good things, conversation starters. Yeah, whether it's dunking on the bullpen, rightfully so, or, giving an angle that people maybe aren't seeing. In last night's post game, there were quite a few different things that I enjoyed about the chat. You guys have been on fire. Some tamed views, not as crazy as I thought it would be, but the post game last night with the bullpen even there, everybody was kind of grounded for it. Just a couple comments I like from this last segment. Geshmek says, we're willing to forget Teo's defensive woes when he does hit home runs and has timely hits, for sure. And I think that, yeah, and speak directly to that, Ant.
We've been saying that all season. That because this year his defense stood out more. Look, he was terrible in the outfield last year. Like the numbers bear it out, right? He was just as bad as he was this season, but he was hitting dongs and he was getting on base and he was doing things at the plate that I think we're missing for a lot of this season. And so when you don't have that to overshadow some of the defensive miscues and the defensive, kind of ineptitude that he has been basically for most of his career, it's gonna shine a little brighter. And and we were saying it then, like, look, we would not care if he was hitting the ball better because we didn't care last year really, and he played in in the other corner, but he was just as bad. And so. Now we see him starting to come around, and he does this in game one. And, if he would have pulled up on a ball last night and it fell for a hit or something like that, like he probably wouldn't have cared either because he hit two bombs.
Two bombs, games out of hand there. That's the name of it goes. So, you're able to produce the runs. You play in a plus or minus game. Did you help allow a run, or did you help put up a run? That's how it goes. You played a plus minus, and for me, that's good. Just quick correction. Admin wants me to toss this up here. Jeff Erickson from RotoWire. So shout out to Jeff Erickson. Thank you for tuning in or joining Dodger Blue this morning to help talk some Cincinnati Reds ball following game one. So everybody give some love to that video there. Terrific interview. Jeff Erickson had some great insight. Appreciate him doing that there. Yoshi wants to know, is this an infomercial? Not yet, but it can be. Let's see. Cool. I really want to talk this. I want to get into Yoshinobu Yamamoto, man, because I'm eager. I am eager to see what he can do in the postseason again. Because this season for Yoshinobu, just a stellar sophomore season for him. Just a short king right-hander, 5'10", about $175, standing on the mound, just throwing BBs. It says something to a sophomore season that he doesn't have a slump. In September, just an unbelievable run for him. Has a sub-1 ERA. In the entire month of September, he allows just 2 earned runs, Anthony, going into the postseason. This is someone in a game where it's not a do or die, but in a game where Dave Roberts hands the ball to him, pencils him in, I couldn't think of anybody better right now.
I don't know how I would feel any better going into today with the chance to close this thing out in the minimum number of games than I do with this guy taking the ball. And I say that with all sincerity. I know we have Ohtani and Snell pitched last night. I'd feel good, don't get me wrong, if Yamamoto gave us the game 1 performance and it was Snell going tonight. But I feel like what we saw last year was him step up in some really big spots. Game 2 of the World Series was an absolute, he just dropped a dime on the Yankees last year.
Yeah, brother.
It was beautiful. It was a masterpiece. And he probably could have went longer, but they were like, hey, we might need you later. We're going to pull you now. But he was moving in that game too. And I really took notice of what he said in his press conference yesterday, I believe it was. And somebody asked him a question about just sort of the pressure and, how he's dealt with it and, having been in the postseason last year. And essentially what he said was, yeah, I was pretty nervous last year. I think he got shelled in the game against the Padres, right? His first start. Was that him who pitched in that big blowout?
Let me pull this up here.
Yeah, I think it was game 2 of the NLDS against the Pods. But he bounced back and he essentially said, it was a really new experience for me. I was trying to figure out how to handle it, not just in that first start, but throughout the postseason, including again in that game against the Yankees. He said it. And
you're right. 3 innings, 5 earned runs against the Padres, allows a homer, 2 walks there. How many strikeouts did he have that outing? 1.
Yeah.
3 innings. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, and I think that was the game they got blown out and Profar got into it with the fans in the left field seats and all that stuff. I think that was that night. And so he said, this year I have felt so much more comfortable, and knowing him taking the ball in game 2, I feel so much more comfortable. You get a guy who performed that way last October in some pretty big spots, including the World Series, who's performed the way he has all season and in September, National League Pitcher of the Month. And you go, this guy feels better than he did now. I'm ready to close this thing out tonight on this guy's back.
Yeah, man. Yoshinobu Yamamoto last year, against the Yankees, that start for me and seeing that emotion. And I just, get the flashbacks and the visuals, just the secondary stuff and the off speed, being able to land it for strikes and the confidence in the fastball playing inner half to the righties. Against the New York Yankees, he goes 6 1/3, allowing just 1 earned on 1 solo homer, 2 walks, and he has how many punch? 4. But just a game prior against the New York Mets, in a series where the Dodgers played a little, Dave Roberts had to get in his bag, with maneuvering the starting rotation. And in his rookie season with the Dodgers, probably just going out there and pitching, just trying to get the jitters off his back, just trying to settle in and just not screw up. He goes out there against the New York Mets and goes 4 1/3, allows 2 earned runs, but he has 8 strikeouts. It's never been a question about, is his stuff good enough? Yeah. It's just a matter of, tonight I'm going to be looking for how deep can he go. And what Yoshinobu Yamamoto has done this year, the fall off never happened. He might have had a little bit of a bumpy stretch there, but going into the postseason, you're telling me your number 2 in the rotation is able to give you length. He goes almost, no hitter against the Baltimore Orioles, 8 2/3, 7 innings against the Giants, 5 1/3 the next time he faces them, and has his final start of the season against the Arizona Diamondbacks in a game that they're still trying to win. 6 innings, shutty, 7 punch outs, ends the year with a 2.49 ERA. So Blake Snell proved he's a game 1 starter. Now Dave Roberts can turn to Yoshinobu Yamamoto against the Cincinnati Reds, who have to win today. They're going to be putting it all out there. So either Yamamoto continues to stay aggressive, which I think he will, but that splitter is going to be dancing. And I hope that whoever gets the nod behind the dish is in their bag with getting the Reds to chase, be aggressive, and hope Yamamoto can go deep into this game, because I'm looking for 7 strong, 7, 1 earned, however he wants to do it. But that's what I see it, man.
Yeah, I like the 7 inning mark for him too. I think that is sort of that's the benchmark for him. In Japan, they were pitching him 120 pitches on a pretty regular basis, when he was the guy in that league. So, he can do it. I said it last night on the show with Jeff. How would you like to have lost that game last night like the Reds did? Maybe you get a little bump in confidence because you were able to handle that part of the bullpen in the 8th inning. But you lose that game 1 the way you did, and you go, okay, well, what do we face the next day? Can't be a pitcher who was as good as the guy we just faced. And you go, oh, it's the guy who's probably going to finish in the top 3 in National League Cy Young voting.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. 4th in ERA from Yoshinobu Yamamoto there. So just sub 1 whip on the year, 0.99. So he's going to keep the ball in the strike zone. He's going to limit the walks. He's going to get pissed at himself when it does happen. And he's going to continue to work harder out there. He's an athlete on the mound. Yamamoto he avoided big damage this year. I'm looking up for the home runs there. Home runs are going to happen. You have big stuff. You have a big fastball there. Let's just let that thing ride in the zone. Tunnel some great stuff here. I'm excited to see his secondary offerings and how he's really matured as far as a postseason pitcher. But with what we've seen in Dave Roberts and the leash, and we've spoken a lot on this channel about the responsibility the starters have, and I think we can see it. And I think we know that it's happening. Blake Snell wants to stay on the mound. I think Yoshinobu wants to stay on the mound. Hell, Ohtani wants to stay on the mound, but he understands the assignment. Clayton Kershaw wants to be out there. But I think in a game like tonight, I think Yoshinobu is going to do whatever he can. And people in chat are saying it. I hope the offense continues to give them run support because Yoshinobu going into the game, if he's got a 3-run lead, we're looking at 7. And if his pitch count's in a good spot with how the Reds are aggressive, we could be looking at 8. And that would make things really easy for this Dodgers bullpen, this Dodgers starting staff, and Dave Roberts there. Soft predictions for tonight for Yoshinobu Yamamoto in game 2?
Yeah, I'm thinking 7 innings, 1 run kind of ball. I'm thinking probably somewhere between 8 and 10 Ks. I think that with his stuff and his command, as long as he's not getting hosed with like borderline pitches, because he does tend to sort of rely on not getting calls off the plate, but just getting calls that are on the lines, right? Which are strikes. If he's getting those, I don't see how this Reds lineup with who they put out there can match up with a guy like that.
Yeah, C-Note says nothing is easy for this bullpen, Scott. Yeah, I hear you. Last night I texted a bunch of group chats with a bunch of mixed fan bases, and I was saying, don't have to worry about the bullpen when you got an 8-run lead, eh? And then, I turned away for a little bit. I kept tabs on the game, but I was looking at, man, there's no shot. And then you could see Dave Roberts kind of get a little panicky, get Emmett Sheehan warming there. But Yamamoto, the last time he faced the Reds, this was back in, my gosh, where did I have this? Just had it up. It was in July 28th against the Cincinnati Reds. He on the road. He goes 7, 1 earned, 9 punch. So familiarity factor there. Goes 101 pitches, gets the win, looks terrific there, and only has 2 walks, 4 hits allowed. So I expect Yamamoto to continue to do what he's done. Right-handed hitters for them. They've got some mercenary lefties with the Cincinnati Reds there, but the bulk of their lineup is from the right-hand side. You're going to see Gavin Lux in there tonight. Won't be a late game ad. So Ellie De La Cruz flips around to the left side there. Avoid the big damage. And that's how it is. Offense come out and do the same thing they did. They're going up against Zach Lytle. And from what I believe is that Zach is going to go one time through the order, and they're going to hand it over to Nick Lodolo. And that's going to be kind of your bulk man there. I expect Dave Roberts to play like his lineup is going up against a left-handed pitcher. If we see a sub after one at bat for maybe one guy, that could be a possibility. But I'm myself game planning for Nick Lodolo immediately following Zach Lytle.
Yeah, I think if you're on the red side, that's probably a pretty solid prediction. If he's cruising, then I could see them maybe playing it like batter by batter after that. Yeah. But yeah, their season's on the brink tonight. Like, you lose this one and you're done. So I think it's sort of, we're gonna pull out every stop that we possibly can and try to not let these guys get, more than a look at any pitcher. And look, they know what they have in the bullpen too, and it's not so great for the Reds. So like if they can pump 2 starters out there and cover 6 or 7 innings, I think that they think they're going to have a chance.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm looking up to see what Zach Lytle's stuff is in the first inning this year, what his ERA by inning, because that tells you a lot. It tells you a lot. If he's comfortable coming out in an opener's role there, he going one time through an order. It's a tough task one time through the order against the Dodgers, especially when they're all feeling good. Yeah, he's been pretty solid there in the first inning. He's going to look to get through that lineup fairly quickly. Hopefully, top first, Dodgers can get some traffic there, make him work, and kind of make Terry Francona force a move early on. Yeah. But I believe Lodolo is going to be the arm coming in right after that. I would hope that the Dodgers can throw their plan off kilter a bit. Don't make it an easy 9. I don't expect that to be the case. I expect it to be, thrown off a bit. I don't expect them to go 1-2-3, 1-2-3, 1-2-3. The Dodgers are seeing the ball well. The crowd is, influencing them, and they all look on time. And Terry Francona is going to try to do this and hopefully keep their season on the brink there. But what the offense did last night, they are not missing mistake pitches. And Zach Lytle is a solid arm, but he's not someone the Dodgers are circling saying, we really have to game plan for him. He is bounced around the league a bit. He's been, a reliever at certain times, stretched out to a starter at certain times, but he's not someone the Dodgers are going to likely struggle against. Yeah,
and I think like those plans are all well and good when before the first pitch happens, but the Dodgers can make them change in a hurry, right? Like if they're going to be patient, if they're going to grind out at bats, he may not make it through that first time in the order because, like I said, like any sign of trouble, I think Francona is looking around because they're already down 1-0 in a best of 3.
Yep.
Or they just jump on them so fast and start to score, and they do that avalanche thing that they can do with their offense, and all of a sudden, he's not giving you 3 innings. He's not giving you 3 2/3 innings. He's giving you 1 1/3, 1 2/3. And, we saw it last year happen to other teams that played the Dodgers where, when they were in sort of, all hands on deck mode, and you had a guy who you thought like, man, if we can get 4 out of this dude, then we might be in good shape. And all of a sudden the guy doesn't make it past the second inning.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody quick, all caps question, toss those in there. I'm going to star a few of them. And we're going to let everybody kind of, ask away. There's a lot of different conversations that can be had going into game 2 tonight. But with what the Dodgers did in game 1, we can kind of tell where their noggin's at. They're coming out swinging. They're coming out being aggressive. They're not missing these mistakes. They're not giving us a reason to believe the Dodgers are underwhelming right now against the Cincinnati Reds. They understand that they are in the driver's seat here. Last night, the offense goes 15 for 38. 9 RBI with runners in scoring position. They go, 2 for 8, but it didn't matter. They had 5 homers. They did the damage with the long ball there, and the long ball will always reign supreme. 2-out RBIs, Ohtani with 2 of them, Teoscar Hernandez or Kike Hernandez with 1, and Benny Rortvedt. So it's just, I'm very impressed with what I got to see last night. I love the fact that they're willing to put runners in the scoring position. They're looking to play situational baseball, even though they're understanding that the slug works. Giving away outs is okay, but you got guys that they feel good in the box. They feel good about their matchups right now. Let's see. JF, first one. He says, who goes in for the save if it comes to that tonight? Who comes in for the save? Yeah.
Like if we're talking a 3-run or fewer lead in the 9th inning, I hate to say it, but I think Dave will look at Tanner Scott.
Man,
I think the fact that he did not use him in that situation yesterday means that he's saving him for the high leverage kind of spot, and that would be that.
Yeah, and I agree with you a ton, and it doesn't make me happy to say it, chat. It does not make me happy to say it.
We are not advocating for this.
We are not advocating for it here at Dodger Blue. We're not. But with Dave Roberts and the front office having him on the roster, and he doesn't use him in an 8-run lead, we've seen Dave Roberts say before he wants these guys to be in these spots, and we saw it in the last few weeks. And I told you all, I warned you all, watch what happens when these last bit of audition pieces. He's going to put the guys in the pieces, like the spots that he wants them. And Tanner Scott was continued to be put in these spots, and he's carried on the roster. Anthony Bonda left off. If he wasn't going to use Tanner Scott in an 8-run blowout, where do you think he's going to use him? If it's against a run of lefties and that's how it happens, and maybe we just haven't seen that yet, sure. If that's how it shakes out and that's where he wants to deploy him, all right. But Tito is going to match up his offense so it doesn't make it so easy on Tanner Scott. But to what Anthony said, I agree with him there. If the opportunity arises, wait till you see Tanner Scott warming up in the bullpen. You look out there and you see it. Joshua wants to know, would I prefer Tanner Scott or Blake Trinan to close it out? Blake Trinan. I would say Blake Trinan right now.
I would probably say Trinan too. I do think that Dave's got a couple of more weapons in the pen right now that he did not have during the regular season when he kept going to Scott. Yeah. So I could very well see it. Like, I think the question I was asked last night with Jeff was, who would I want to? Not who do I think Dave would? Because my answer for Dave is Tanner Scott. Who would I want to? I think it's Emmett Sheehan. And I think the bridge there involves Roki Sasaki too.
Correct. I'm with you. I'm 100% in agreement on that. Roki Sasaki, like, that's why I was so big on how his first outing went. The fact that it was a clean slate, the fact that he's done that again. He's had one hitter reach, and he's been fine. The heartbeat looks like it's in a good spot there. Dave Roberts might slow play him into that. I believe he'll get a leverage spot, and I think he'll answer the call on that. And I'm super excited to see him. I'm a fan of baseball, Ant. I'm a fan of, when these young guys go in there and how they can execute. I want to see how they perform under that. If their game plan stays the same, is their full arsenal at their disposal? And that's what I want to see. If his stuff looks out of place, if the fastball is not in a good spot, he's got to be perfect. I want to see some arm side sinkers there. I want to see him blowing up the bats. Yeah, man. I'm excited to see Roki Sasaki, but Tanner Scott at the very back end. Yeah, chat. I see you. I agree with Emmett Sheehan. There isn't a better guy at the back end of the bullpen that gets the whiff and gets the chase like Emmett Sheehan. Last night you got to see Emmett Sheehan warming up, and for me that felt a little bit of panic mode from Dave Roberts, that if there's one big swing and it's one run, we're looking at a 2-run lead. Emmett Sheehan just go in there, close it out, get us out of here. But that's what it kind of felt for me, that Dave Roberts saw those ghosts. He saw the bombs going off, and he said, I'm not letting this happen.
Yeah, that was scary when he got up, because I did not want to have to use that guy in that game. I thought Dave didn't really set those guys up in that inning for success. Thought he used Vesia in a spot that Vesia is probably not going to be his best, and he thrives on sort of that adrenaline and energy in that big spot. You use him in a game that you're up 8 runs in. And then he loads the bases, and you use a guy after that who very often enough doesn't know where the ball's going, including his fastball, with the bases loaded. And it plays out how you might imagine, right? And then Dreyer walks the first guy. The only reason we remember that is because the bases were loaded and a run came in. But he actually kind of did his job after that. But yeah, I thought last night, and not to dwell too much on what happened last night, I thought the path should have been with an 8-run lead. That's the key for me. Just give Robo 2 innings and go shut this thing down. Go shut it out.
Yep.
Don't
Close
miss
it
6
down.
outs.
Make it easy on yourself. Don't need to get everybody else warming up, because it's essentially, it's not work, but it's just the fact that you had to pick up a ball and you had to get hot to an extent. Just close it out, finish it, get a strike thrower in there, and just get us to game 2. We don't have to worry about it. I'm glad that, yeah.
And I say
it.
that to say that because now for game 2, you would have had every option available to you, including Alex Vesia, who, in all honesty, I don't want to see Alex Vesia on the second night of a back-to-back. And that's what, and you've burned him already, unless you're willing to do that. And then the other note I'll say is, I really do not want to have to see Glass now. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think it's not because I don't think he can get the job done. I think he would be one of the best relievers in the bullpen. I just do not even want to have to bother him with it. You go focus on starting.
For sure. And he feels like a game 3 guy. Like, he feels like a game 3. If Ohtani airs it out for 5 and like you're like pitch counts elevated, but strikeouts were the focus for him, and you've got to take him out after 5, 6, and you need to pick up 2 innings there from Dave, I think he'd feel comfortable doing that. He feels like a game 3 guy. But I would love just to not use him and just carry him, break glass in case of emergency. You've got to use him and then look toward the next series here. But all hands on deck. If he's out there, he's got to be willing to do whatever. If it lines up with the bullpen day, if today's the throw day and Dave wants to do it and you're in a good spot for it, look, we're talking about Tyler Glass now. Like, he's an elite right-hander. If he needs to be used there and it's just 1 inning in a good spot, I agree with you, buddy. I'm fully with you. I don't want to use him at all. But if there's a spot where Dave's just like, hell, guys, I can't do this. Tyler, I need you out there. I need an inning. I need 2 innings here. Lines up with the pen day. Just go ahead. So no more Enriquez. The stuff with Edgardo Enriquez here, feels like he's overthrowing every single pitch. He doesn't look comfortable out there. His ERA is infinity in the postseason so far. He just does not look comfortable on a big league mound right now. I don't care how good the stuff looks. It's just not a pretty process going on.
I think he pitched himself into oblivion last night. I don't think we see him on the mound for the rest of October.
Yeah, that's we'll see how it shakes out. It's like following this round there. Yeah, man, that was tough stuff. You got to have strike throwers out there, the guys that have the ability to just implode at one time. I know we say that with Tanner Scott on the mound, but he's not getting paid like Tanner Scott. He doesn't have the front office nod like Tanner Scott there. So that's kind of where we're at. Ms. Powell saying Dreyer gets a lot of swings on balls. Yeah, for sure. He gets a ton of chase. He looks good out there. All right, guys, anything else tonight, Anthony, that you're looking out for in particular? Anything that's caught your eye that you want to see tonight from the offense to stay hot, from Yoshinobu Yamamoto, or even the Cincinnati Reds here?
Yeah, aside from how Dave uses the bullpen, because I think that's going to be a thing that we have to watch for every time that this team plays. I'm looking at Max Muncy. I want to see how he bounces back from a game where the at-bats didn't look very competitive. And he just looked kind of overmatched. Yeah. I want to see how he comes back from that. And if he can look like he's a competitive at bat again, then this lineup just gets so much deeper. But if he looks the way he did last night, I think there's some cause for concern there.
Yeah, the first at bat against Hunter Green, he took the fastball away for a strike 3, and then his next at bat, he walked. I know that, but he's looking at fastballs down and away. Not a great spot there. The next at bat against Scott Barlow here, he goes curveball, ball 1, 4-seamer, ball 2. Then he goes sweeper, swinging strike, curveball, and then sweeper, all swinging strike. So he's a little bit in between right now. He looks like he's battling himself. Max Muncy was my X factor for where you need it. Same type of thing. The linchpin in the lineup. Those 2 slot guys, put them next to each other there. And they're going to have the ability to turn the lineup over from the top half to the bottom half. I'm going to be on the lookout for Max Muncy again tonight, hopefully in the first time through the batting order. So I'm right there with you. I want to see him go out and punish a mistake from Zach Lytle. Yeah, man. So I'm fully in agreement with you there. Absolutely. We got a super chat here from Shelly. It's great to have you in, Shelly. Thank you for the support. As always, thanks for the DM this morning asking when the show was. You almost had me sweating like I missed my time slot. It says for the $5 for the show and for support of our Dodgers. I see Fort in there, and it kind of makes me mad because it's, Fordo. So I'm going to overlook that. But yeah, I'm with you, man, on the Edgardo Enriquez stuff. I'm with you on Max Muncy things. Everything you said about Yoshinobu is spot on. The Dodgers offense looks and feels like they're in a good place. Everybody who we hoped would answer the call when it comes to October baseball is right there. I'm looking for Freddie Freeman to continue swinging a good bat and just kind of flood the Cincinnati Reds, make this an easy 2-game set, and just pack it up. And you look like you're ready to go play in Philadelphia in the DS. So take care of business today. Final thoughts. The last thing, I do this to Blake, I'm going to do it to you. Final thoughts, Ant. We'll take them home, buddy.
Yeah, I think that they manage this, Doc manages this, and they play this like it's a must win. Do not go to game 3 against these guys. Do not put your season at risk by underperforming because you have a 1-game lead and losing that sense of urgency that it felt like they played with all night last night, aside from 1 half inning. That's I think where this team needs to be. And we saw them be there with it last year. And so I have confidence that they'll come out, and that's how they'll attack this. And it's not just like we got the 1-game cushion, we're okay. There's no punting games this postseason.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't need to do that. That's why you don't need the Brent Honeywell role. Just go out there, let your starters go. If they're feeling like they're in a good space, just let them go. Let them hit that 110 pitch mark if they feel like they're in a good spot. The stress innings aren't there. The up downs didn't affect them too much, and let them go. Dave Roberts, I feel, has got a good pulse with his starting pitchers right now. Do not pull an Aaron Boone. For the love of God, do not pull an Aaron Boone and take him out. Don't go crazy and have your starter throw like 125 pitches, but 110, cool. If you're in a good spot, let him ride and go from there. Jedi Engineer says it's lunchtime, Scott. You 100% missed the 10 a.m. slot. Hey, man, keep it tuned in on Twitter. We're letting you guys all know on social media when these shows are going to be at. I promise. We never leave anybody else in the dark. All right, everybody. Again, thank you, Anthony. I appreciate you tuning in, chat. Thank you again for the support. Everybody, look ahead toward Game 2 tonight. Look out for Zach Lytle to get the start through the first time through the order. Lodolo coming in after that is what I think it's going to be. Yoshinobu Yamamoto gets Game 2 with a chance to close this thing out there and push the Dodgers to the division series round. Everybody, as always, my name is Scott Geirman. It's great to have you in on DodgerHeads Unplugged. Good luck tonight. Keep it tight. We'll be all right. Everybody, till I can't say it anymore, go Dodgers.